Hi, this is Dr. Doreste with the Cranial Release Technique. Good morning. Sunday morning, December 24. And I made the video yesterday kind of half as a joke, but half serious, certainly, about earning more money and using the cranial release technique to enhance the brain, to enhance your overall performance in everything that you do, obviously including the job. So I did receive a few emails and a few comments about what about cranial release and the entrepreneur or the entrepreneurial mind? And of course, being a business owner, and you maybe being a business owner, or even if you work for a company, a lot of people have a little side hustle, side job that's going on to try to make ends meet. I think it would be a very good investment for you as a patient to get on a table on a regular basis and receive the cranial release technique. And I just want to review why I would even say that. So, again, really, everything that we do, everything that we're aware of, everything that we're not aware of, all the functions in the body, both the voluntary, like moving my hand, and the involuntary, like the functioning of my liver, is controlled by the brain. And then again, the brain is protected by these 22 separate bones called the skull or the head. And this is a nice plastic model just showing all the different cranial bones by the different colors. And again, the purpose of the skull is to protect this very sensitive, very delicate organ, which we call the brain. And when you really think of it, there's no other organ completely surrounded by bone other than the brain. As important as the heart and the lungs are, they're in a cage. The liver, the kidneys, the intestines, the internal organs are covered by muscle and skin. But really the cranium, the head, is the only bony projection, bony casing, let's just call it, of the brain. Probably because the brain is the most important organ in the body. I think we can all probably agree on that. And so if you've maybe not been, or maybe you're new to my channel and you haven't seen many of my other videos, those 22 bones of the cranium or the head, I like to use this little toy called a Hoberman sphere to sort of describe that those bones and the areas between the bones, between the yellow and the green, and the brown and the green, and the red and the green, and the blue and the green, those little areas allow for movement. So we have this tiny bit of movement that's happening, and I'm exaggerating here with the toy. But the problem is that from all the stresses in life, the physical stresses, the chemical stresses, the emotional stresses, and all the other stresses that we can discuss maybe at another time, those cranial bones tend to shift, misalign, and sort of get stuck, and that reduces or negatively impacts this normal movement that should be happening. This was discovered over 100 years ago by an American osteopath by the name of William Sutherland, and he called this the primary respiratory mechanism, this involuntary movement that's happening in all of us that most of us are not even aware of. And the purpose of the cranial release technique, which is a 1-minute technique where you basically lay on a table and someone that understands how to do cranial release places their hands on your head and in very gentle technique helps your body to open, align, and restore this movement from the inside out. It's very easy, it's very simple, it's very gentle, and it's very specific, and it's very effective, because when you start to do this to a patient from a practitioner standpoint like me, you start to hear things like, oh, those headaches that I always had are now diminishing, or are they gone? Or I'm sleeping better, or I'm digesting my food better now with the addition of the cranial release technique. I'm calmer, my anxiety is less. I can relate to people better. I can relate to my husband, my wife, my boyfriend, my girlfriend better. I feel sort of calmer and more at peace in my own skin. I mean, you hear all these things in addition to, hey, my ankle's better, my knee is better, my back feels better, my shoulder feels better. And obviously we need a lot more research on what's really happening, but at the very baseline, at the very foundation, we are affecting the functioning, we're improving the functioning of the brain, which is therefore improving the function of the body, because the brain is the relay station. It's sending and receiving hundreds, thousands, 10,000, millions of signals, maybe a second, maybe a day. I don't know if anybody has that answer. And the more that we can improve the structure of the cranium and improve this movement, the more we improve the functioning of the brain. It's theorized that this movement, this primary respiratory mechanism that's happening in all of us, from the time we're born until the time we leave, is doing more than just gently moving these bones. It's actually enhancing nutritional flow up into the brain through the blood. So it's enhancing blood flow. It's enhancing the venous drainage from the brain, removing all the waste products from the brain, improving the lymphatic drainage, again, part of the sanitation system of the central nervous system. It's enhancing overall functionality of the brain the way nature intended. We don't want to, the cranial release technique is not looking at the brain and looking at the cranium and us with our logical mind saying, I have to move a bone 2 degrees that way or 3 millimeters that way. That's not what this is. This is intuitively using the patient's own body to do the correction. The patient on the table complaining of the migraines or the kidney issue or the skin trouble or the immune dysfunction or whatever it happens to be, their body is going to be the one doing and opening the cranium three-dimensionally to enhance its own function, but it needs some help, and that help is what we as the practitioner are going to apply with this 1-minute cranial release technique. Back to the entrepreneur, which is where we started this conversation. If you're out there and you're either running your own business, starting your own business, thinking about starting your own business, you would want optimal function of your own central nervous system to maximize your investment of time, energy, and money to make this profession, to make this business, to make this new career of yours maximize itself. And to me, it really comes down to, how could you maximize a business or a profession or a vocation, whatever it happens to be, if your brain is not maximized? And so, sure, we need to there are multiple things we can do to help our brain to maximize: nutrition, rest, exercise, sunshine, all those things that we know are important. But the one thing that everyone's missing, the one thing that no one's talking about, is this primary respiratory mechanism that's happening in all of us. And in my opinion, over 25 years of practicing this work, I've seen things change that they were told by the best of the best in the best institutions in the planet that there's nothing that can do to help you. And I just see it over and over and over again. So never believe everything that everybody tells you. If you haven't tried the cranial release technique, please visit the website. That's at cranialrelease.com. You can search for a practitioner. Hopefully we have someone in your area, and you can go and get on the table and give it a try. And I would say, don't go for one visit, because if you're 60 years old, that problem may have been there for 60 years since the birth process. I don't know. I would feel very comfortable telling a patient, give it 10 visits. See what happens after 10 visits. If you feel absolutely nothing and you've noticed that nothing has changed, well, maybe this is not for you. Now, I say that kind of half joking, because I've never seen anyone come into me over all the years that wanted to try this for 10 visits that never saw improvement in something. So, yes, it's something that you should do on a regular basis to keep your brain, nervous system, and body functioning optimally, regardless of your lifestyle, which is your department, regardless of your stress level, which is your department. We're talking about something that you can come in weekly, every 2 weeks, once a month. Something is better than nothing on a somewhat regular basis. Receive this 1-minute technique, and what you'll normally find, because what I've seen over and over, is that you will start to make better decisions in your lifestyle, in your diet, in your exercise routine, in your sleep pattern, in your relationships to other people, and in your business as well. So I'm expecting you to do better in business, make more money, so you can hire more people, help more people, and get your work out there to the planet. And that's the same thing I want to do with cranial release. If you're a practitioner, if you're a chiropractor, a naturopath, a massage therapist, a physical therapist, an occupational therapist, maybe an acupuncturist, so you're sort of into the world of holistic and wellness type medicine, maybe you should look. Maybe you're a holistic MD, maybe you're a holistic dentist. Maybe you should take a visit to the website, cranialrelease.com, and click on the button about how to learn the work. How can you learn this in the comfort of your home or office? So it's all on the website. It's all at cranialrelease.com. This is Dr. Doreste wishing you a happy holiday to all. Hope to speak to you soon. Be well. Cranialrelease.com is the website. Maximizing the primary respiratory mechanism to maximizing central nervous system function, that's the brain and spinal cord, to maximize function throughout the body. It's a pretty simple message. It's a very simple technique, and it has to be done just right, and the magic happens. Cranialrelease.com. Goodbye, my friends. Talk to you soon. Have a great day. Adios.